agency over non-medical home care. So no, they don't have to be any of those things. Now, if you're contracted with Medicaid, they have to be CPR first aid certified. They have to be TB. There are some things that they have to have gone through, but it's mostly background and the CPR first aid.
Right. The
Kind of.
background definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do companion care and not have any experience other than, you
Mhm.
know, we used to reach out to retired school teachers. I mean, this was like our targets for people who we just needed people that we just needed employees, and we're like thinking, okay, it's summer. Who's not working right now? We need caregivers, teachers that are on vacation. I mean, maybe great for a companion care, right? And so of course you have to do your due diligence, the interviewing, the background checks, and all of that. But think of people like that could work summer or Christmas breaks, or when other people are taking off. These people might need extra income.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
And
good.
then another thing with the caregivers, helping them to feel a part of things. We used to do like caregiver days, um, and we would kind of celebrate them in the office. They had to come in and they would get little goodie bags. And we always had, in one of the places I was at, we always had, our office was always open to them to come get waters, come get snacks, things like that before their shifts. And they would just come and kind of, talk with us, hang out for a few, and then get on their way to whatever they were doing. So I think that any way that you can make them feel a part of the team like that too, if you have staff in the office, that's a great way. Have an open door policy where you guys know each other, and you build a rapport, and they want to work for you, and they want to work hard for you, and they want to do a good job.
I think that's good. Yeah. We have a
Um,
question. Oh, go ahead, Sharon.
I'm sorry. So you had mentioned making sure you do like the background checks and everything, regardless of like the caregiver's background or how much experience they have, which I understand. And I was just wondering if you do the background checks, like as like with each person that you hire, or can they bring their own background checks with them that they've purchased previously before?
We want the most recent, so I would usually run them. Now, I used a company, I think it's called backgroundchecks.com, and the more volume you had, the cheaper it was per caregiver. We had a lot of volume, so I don't know how expensive it would be for less volume, but they could do the background. We got it back within an hour, and that was wonderful because I don't want to pay for a background if someone's not going to show up to class or training, right? So I didn't run the background till they were in my building because I didn't want to pay for it. So you want the most recent background you can get. Even the fingerprint clearance card, you can run that through, have it rerun through, oh, what is the name? I can't think of the name of it. You can rerun it without a charge and make sure that it's still clear, because someone can be walking around with a fingerprint clearance card and have had a felony, but they still have their card on them. So you
Right.
need to run that through the system again, and you just do a search on it and make sure that they're still good, because just because it was good once doesn't mean it's still good. So you do have to check all of those things, and you're going to want the most recent background check. I just like running my own just
Yeah,
in
for
case.
sure.
I just think,
100%, because
yeah.
you're responsible. You're 100% responsible for that person. You're putting them in a home where we don't have, there's no time clocks, there's no cameras that you can see. Viewing them, I would definitely run that myself.
And
Get it.
especially if something did happen and the adult children ran one and found something later on, and you had some old one that they handed you, that could put you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So
John,
we've been.
oh, sorry.
Yes. No, go ahead.
John says, check with your liability insurance provider. I know Selective has a contract with a background check company at a great discount starting at 16. My average is 23 per background check.
Ooh,
So
that's great.
Select. Yeah.
So your
And then,
liability insurance provider, that's awesome.
yeah. And then Courtney says, do you feel that hiring a CNA can be competitive pay with a home care company versus them working within a hospital? That's
So I don't know if the pay would be competitive. Now, this is the thing. When you're signing the client, it always starts with a client for me. And they say, we want someone really skilled, and, not anybody can transfer my mom, and she's really difficult, and she may or may not be, but they want a CNA, period. That's what they want. You need to charge them more so you can pay the CNA more. So charge more. Make sure your salesperson, marketing person has room, that they have that authority to be able to charge more when they feel like they need to, because you don't want to have to pay the CNA more than you pay your regular caregivers, and you're getting, the same pay, or the same, you're charging the client than you do all your clients. So charge more. So if they're really pushing for a CNA and they really want one, and CNAs are making 18, 20 bucks an hour, charge them 40 bucks an hour. I mean, you're going to have to do that to be able to pay the CNA. The way I would get CNAs to come, because we had CNAs for our leads and for our QA, quality assurance people, I would say to them, get connected to your clients, because in a hospital, they're being all over the place. They never feel that connection. And many people get in this field to help. They don't want to push paperwork. They don't want to run from one angry patient to another angry patient because there's not enough staff. So that's how I sell against that too. It's like, you're going to get to know your clients. You're going to have a relationship with them. You're going to really make a difference in their lives. So that's how you can kind of sell against the hospital piece of it. I don't know if that was part of your question or if it was more about pay. I hope I answered it. Does anybody else have anything?
Make sure you have work for them, because if they are even thinking about the hospital or somewhere else that they can get, a more consistent, how it goes, then they will leave and you will lose them. So just make sure you have work for them too.
True. That's a good point. Yeah.
I've lost many people. Oh, I'm going to, Courtney said, thank you, by the way. That was great feedback.
Oh,
I'm going to go, I need consistent, I need more hours. I'm going to go here. I'm like, wait, you didn't talk to me. Tell me you need more hours. What do you need?
Right. Which is another reason to be communicating with your caregivers often, because they'll tell you stuff if you ask them. But if they're off doing their thing and you're doing your thing, they're not going to come to. I've been so blindsided by caregivers through the years. Someone who I think's off and happy and doing well, and they just, nope, I needed more and you didn't give them. Well, I didn't know that. The scheduler, nobody told me. So you need to have a lot of communication with your caregivers for sure. Oh, we're on to the role play.
Closed mouth does not get fed. Exactly. Have to speak up for sure.
Okay. I would love it if you guys would do a little role play of what you say back and forth with the gatekeeper and social worker and a few different people, including some of the pushback you get and how you respond. Oh boy. Okay. I guess I'll be the salesperson. I guess let's set the stage. I'll walk into a sniff. You want to be the gatekeeper? You put your headphones on, you're making
okay. Oh girl, hold on. I see somebody coming. It looks like a marketer. Oh, geez.
Oh, lovely. And that's exactly what they think, probably. Okay, Lisa. All right. I gotta put my marketing cap on.
Oh my goodness, this is too funny.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dawn with Approved Senior Network. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. And what is your name?
My name's Lisa.
Oh,
good morning
Lisa.
to you.
Good morning. How long have you worked here, Lisa?
I have been here just a few months, actually.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
It's a great facility. I've been in here several times. I've met with the director of nursing, Sandy. She's really, really nice. Have you had a chance to meet her yet?
Oh, Sandy. Yes, I have. Actually, she just walked by like 4 minutes ago.
Oh, mister. Well, I haven't had a chance yet to meet with Julie, the social worker, and I wanted to talk to her about our company. I provide home care. I'm sure you know all about it and you know what it is, and you don't need to hear the whole spill, but we do things very differently. We have a backup plan when caregivers don't show up to the home. It does happen time to time, and we have a great backup plan that I would love to share with her. Do you know if she has a few moments?
Oh, wow. I wouldn't even think that caregivers wouldn't show up to the home.
Yeah,
you know what? I know that she is booked all morning. Do you want to leave me something?
Yeah. Here's my brochure and my business card. Is there a good day you think that I could come by, or should I just try to pop in another time?
You know what? I have learned that today is like one of the worst days. So
Noted,
they just
not
have
Fridays. I will not.
Yes, they just have meeting after meeting. Sandy, when she walked by, they were actually late to a meeting. But I think if you come on Tuesdays is probably a really good day. Seems like to me, anyways.
Okay, great. I will do that. It was wonderful meeting you, and I look forward to seeing you ongoing.
Oh yeah, well, me too. Yeah, stop by anytime.
Okay, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
So that's a sniff. And I don't know. Do you want more role playing? Is that helpful? Was that helpful for anybody?
I mean, I think it could go, you get everybody, most people like to help, right? So if you made it seem like, can you help me? I need XYZ. People always, they want to. And if you're friendly and you want to talk to them and you make it a little bit about them at first. So I think good job. I would have been like, duh.
You have to acknowledge them. Yep, you have to acknowledge that gatekeeper because they are important. They may not seem important, but they are super important to your role and what you're trying to accomplish. Okay.
100%.
Do we want to do, and does anybody have a situation they would like us to role play? Oh, we've got a chat here.
Gatekeepers are key. They
Yes.
sure are.
Yes,
For sure.
Okay. Also, what's the best response for a new agency trying to break in? Should they not let people know they are new? How do they skirt around the number of years? So if you're new, or even if you're new marketer, I don't usually get into that unless they ask, how long have you been doing this? If you haven't been at it long, but you're a nurse, or you haven't been at it for long, but the home care owner is a nurse or a social worker, lean into whatever experience there is in the company, the business, the owner, yourself, whatever. Lean into that if you're asked. I wouldn't probably bring it up if you're not asked. Breaking in is that differentiator, like I shared with Lisa. What makes you different? Everybody know. And when you say to them, I know you know what home care is, I'm not going to get into all that. They're like, oh, thank God she gets it. I don't know if I have to hear what home care is one more. That's what they're thinking. Just like Lisa said, oh God, there's a marketer coming. That's how they feel. It's true. She's not wrong about that. And you can see it on their face. So you've got to really spend time with that person, get to know them, ask them something about themselves, and then tell them why you're different and why the social worker needs to talk to you. We're not the same, and this is why. So the differentiator, the market's saturated. You have to figure out why you're different, and they have to hear that from you. And you're more apt to get back behind that, gatekeeper when they find out, oh, they have a backup plan. Caregivers don't show up, like they don't, like Lisa said, they don't know that that's what happens.
Yeah. What the heck?
A dreadful picture of that either, but having the backup plan makes you different.
Dawn, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you're going to the facility, you have no idea who's the DON or anyone of there?
So you can ask the gatekeeper that stuff. Sometimes I will call ahead as if I'm an adult child. I star 6-7 my phone all the time. I call people and I will just ask, what is the name of your social worker, or, who's the director of nursing? I will just get that information, that way. Sometimes I'll go in and, the gatekeeper maybe isn't there, or there isn't somebody at the front, or somebody's up front that shouldn't be. I'll just grab a bunch of business cards and then I have their names too. So I do it different ways. If the gatekeeper is somewhat receptive, I will, and I'll just say, I haven't been able to stop in. I was down the street. Who's a social worker here? Or I grabbed the card. Oh, so Julie's a social worker. Do you know if she has any time? It's always better to go in knowing the names. It just makes it look better. But sometimes you are at a corner. We have some corners in Mesa. You could see 15, 30 places in a matter of 10 minutes. I mean, if you ran, boom, boom, boom. I mean, they're all clumped together. And you just think, I haven't been in there yet. I need to go in there. So you could call from your car and get the names, or you could it's okay to ask that question too. I just think it's better to be prepared if you can be. Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other role playing that anybody would like to see? No? Okay, we will keep going. How do I sell my private duty services to assisted living? I think we covered that a little bit with, you've got a new resident moving in that needs help. You have somebody discharging that's going to need more assistance than they have the manpower to handle. They usually tell me they have aides on site who provide the same services. So yeah, they do say that we're good. We have what we need. We don't need that. Something else that we work against in Arizona, and maybe other states are this way too. If you are doing hands-on care in assisted living, you have to have an assisted living certificate. You have to have gone through special training. It can be expensive. You have to have this certification. So then how do you work in assisted living? Right now, our hands are tied because our caregivers don't have that. So then you offer to help in other ways. So someone who's discharging into assisted living from a SNF maybe they need some hands-on, right? Maybe they need the assisted living people to do that. And it depends what the hands-on is too. It gets very like detailed, but you can help with other things. You can go get her food from the dining room. You can, you can help other residents, wheel them to dining. You can be staffed for the assisted living, be hired by the assisted living and be staffed for them. During COVID, we did that. We served
Yes.
all the meals. We brought people to dining. We brought meals to people's room. We did all of that so their staff could do all the hands-on. So there's that piece of it. Then on the other side of it, you can still be there to help someone feel comfortable in their new living situation. You can still be there for the meals and activities and all of those things and help them feel like they're a part of the community. Is there a better way to provide any value to them or their clients? So I would say that would be the value. Lisa, do you have anything to add?
And that definitely is the value. And then, you can get into, any bad marks or, falls and things like that. I mean, we can help prevent those things if you want to get into that too. Just kind of, I guess, the conversation you're having kind of, balance that out. But, fall prevention is huge.
Mhm.
How many people fall because there's not enough staff to make sure that they do. That person doesn't remember that they can't just get up and walk,
Mhm.
they've done that for years, just got up and walked. They don't remember that. And that was a lot of the times a good selling point for us. You don't have falls. I don't have, patients or living in the facility with big bruises on their faces, and that helps the adult children too, because they're the ones who get called and have to rush over. And so I think that's a good selling point as well.
And that brings up overnight care. We did a lot of overnight.
Okay, what's that, Pupu? 5 Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I think she's talking to someone else.
Oh,
So we did a lot of overnight services in assisted living for the risk of falling. So overnight, they do have somebody there, but they're not in everybody's room. If somebody needs help getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, or they pop up and forget that they can't do this by themselves, that kind of thing, then the overnight care, we did do some overnight care in assisted living for that reason.
sitter services and overnight. Yeah.
Yep. All right. What are some inexpensive activities to do with facilities like rehabs and SNFs now that we are entering into the colder months? And how to properly plan a quarterly to 6-month calendar of events. So we did get into, so you're saying activities though. So the pumpkin in October, we have pumpkin decorating. You can bring a bunch of little pumpkins into assisted living, into a SNF, bring the decorating. You're not going to carve the pumpkin. That's way too involved. But bring the decorating, and you can set up a time to sit with their residents and the activity director, invite the social worker if it's a SNF, invite the director of nursing if it's assisted living, and help their residents decorate their own little pumpkin, 3-4 inch pumpkin. You can play scary music. You can bring Halloween.
Yay.
Another fun thing that I've did probably 2-3 times a year is cookie decorating. Just
Yep.
go get a bunch of sugar cookies from grocery store, bring all the stuff to decorate, sit the residents down and decorate the cookies, and then they get to eat them when they're done. That's always a fun, easy activity any time of year that you can do.
Yes.
We had another one where we planted, we bought little cactus. We're in Arizona, little cactus. And then we bought these little pots and they transferred them. I mean, by the bottom, if they were covered, and transferred them into a pot, and then they got to paint the pot. I mean, we've come up with all kinds of planting wildflower seeds or little seeds of flowers into a pot with them. And then they can paint the outside of the pot or just decorate it. We've come up with all kinds of activities. And when you do stuff like that, it's helpful. I mean, they like to see that you're involved, and it's more than business to you. You're enjoying this time with their residents, and it helps them too. I've also called bingo a million times.
Yes.
Okay, let me do bingo for Saturday.
Trick or treat bingo. Do trick or treat bingo.
I've done lots of bingos through the years, and they just like to see you pop in for an hour or two, and maybe it's a Saturday here and there. Calling bingo, it keeps you in front of their mind, and you look like you're a caring person. It's not about the referral. It's about, this is your passion. This is what you care about ultimately. And that transfers over into your services. In their mind, they're thinking, my goodness, She's in here on Saturday calling bingo. She was here Wednesday doing cookie decorating. Like, this gal really cares. And then they're going to think they must do a really good job with their caregivers or their clients. We use CJIS. What is that, Fred? I'm not sure what that is. Are you muted, Fred?
Oh, it's Samaya. From Samaya to Fred.
Oh, Fred, we use CJIS. I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, the background company. Okay. Maya was saying that. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, I thought she was talking to us. How to properly plan a quarterly to 6-month calendar of events. It is good to be planned ahead as much as you can. I don't know that I've ever gotten to 6 months. With all that's going on in home care, even if you're in the marketing side and that's like all you've got, that's a lot. You're signing clients, family members are calling you all the time. You're running into skilled nursing facilities. You have events at night and assisted living opening up. I mean, there's just a lot going on. I've never, if you get to 6 months, hallelujah.
I want to see it if you get to 6 months.
I do too, but I have done the quarterly.
Yeah, every 3 months I think is, but 6 months is
good.
Awesome. But
And
I think be ready for change with 6 months too. Be ready for some change. So I think maybe 3 months is good at a time.
So John Good is saying we buy a few backgrounds for photo booths. We print them at Walgreens, add our sticker on the background, and do a mini theme party. Sometimes we do ice cream.
Love it.
Iced coffee bars. That's a great idea. That's a really fun activity. I like that. That's very cool. Okay, so we do.
Can I share something really quick about
Rebecca.
the 6-month calendar?
Yes.
Just wanted to share what we do. So we do plan. We have like a yearly calendar, and it's like an Excel. You know, we do it on a template in Excel. I'll be happy to share it. And it really is helpful. It just gives us a vision for the year. Like around this time, we start planning for next year. Sometimes we do same events that we have done this year. We repeat them next year. And it just gives us like a vision, the bigger picture. I think like what Lisa was saying is totally accurate. Like as we go through, sometimes we have to adapt and, you know, eliminate an event or add another event. But I do think there is a lot of value in having a yearly calendar the year before, that you can have that vision and you can start planning and help out. So it doesn't have to be something really complicated. We do it like on Excel. We put what our monthly promotion will be, what events are going on that month that we will be doing. We don't do all the events, where events are industry events, where events are related to our company, like the birthday of our company we celebrate, you know, things like that. So that helps us to not forget important dates as well. So I'll be happy to share the template if you think it'll be helpful for other people.
I think everyone would love to see that. I used to put everything in my calendar, my own personal work calendar. And I would have from last year, I would just go back real quick and like, what do we do? You know, so I think I like the idea of that, Rebecca, being planned a year out. Fred says, yes, please share that. So yeah, Rebecca, if you can share that with me, I'll make sure that it gets out to everybody when Valerie sends this out.
Great, I'll send it to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Does anybody else have anything to add to this? Okay, we're doing pretty good. All right, how can we get our caregivers involved in being pseudo marketers and recruiters? This is a good one. So as far as marketers go, I guess just be cautious. That's it depends on where they're doing it. You know, if they're just out and about, we had our swag polos and t-shirts, and all the caregivers would get one. And we wanted them to wear them out and about and around. Now, when they're working in a facility, a SNF, they had logo wear that we would have them wear, but we were very selective on who we let work in a SNF or an assisted living. We didn't just send anybody. We also had scrubs with our logo. So you just have to make sure the right people are being your marketer out there. So we had a few that were in assisted living, And we would get referrals. They're like, oh, I just saw Debbie. She just walked by and she, I want her to care for me while she's here, that kind of thing. You just want to make sure they're not soliciting for themselves to get more hours for themselves, right? Like it should just be that they're doing such a good job that people are noticing and it's coming up that way. It shouldn't be that they're walking around handing out cards and brochures to the whole facility, because the facility is not going to like that. So as long as it's done, just because they're just doing such a good job and somebody calls because they're looking into the services, that's very different than somebody walking around, I need more hours and I want to work in this building 40 hours a week. And I'm just going to tell every client that's here all about how great I am. That's very different. And I have had caregivers do that. So just be really careful about who you send into facilities anyway, because they're your referral source. They're getting a firsthand look at how your caregivers behave. And as far as recruiters, we had a recruiting, like a referral program. So if they we had little cards we gave them at orientation. It had a place for their name and it had a place for their friend's name. When their friend came in, after the friend worked, I think it was 50 hours, they both got $100 bonus. So that's kind of how they were recruiters for us. And you'll find that people that are the same hang out together. It's true. If we got a referral from a really great caregiver, her friend would be awesome as well. If we had one from a kind of caregiver, her friend would be It's almost I mean, I could almost guarantee it. So that's my feedback. I don't know, Lisa, do you have some things to add?
Yeah, the only thing I would add on to what you said is that you need to be present also all the time. I used to visit my caregivers and hang out with them, in between, like maybe they were bringing the person to, let's say, lunch, and I would come and I would be talking with the client and them, and just to make sure that everything is going as it should be, never leaving them, just willy-nilly, like you said, just doing whatever they want, and gathering more, hours privately, because that's not what we want. But I got them badges, they very much represented us well, and I made sure that, they were a good fit. And truth in that, where they, what is it, birds of a feather flock together. I had these two in particular that I remember, and they were always talking to each other, and we were always texting, and like I knew everything that was going on, more than I needed to know about everything, and constantly, and hey, what about this? What about this? And they were always referring back to me. And it was great because we had that open communication, and I knew that I could trust them. I still dropped by all the time. But I knew that, and they were concerned. They would always have something for me, like, hey, I think he fell again, and they were here and they didn't, the facility was here, not us. And I think we need more hours. And so then I call the daughter, and you know what, he fell again, and I really think he needs more hands-on. And my two, they're available. I swear, I used to bounce all the same jobs off of these two girls at this one place. And it was just the best ever.
Yeah, no, that's great when it works out that way. And I would say you're right, like with dropping in when they're in a facility, and your marketing person can drop in, they got to go to the facility anyway. It's a stop for them. It's important. We had a caregiver that was in a facility, and she just got really comfortable there because she was working like 35, 40 hours a week there. She started going into their refrigerators in the kitchen, the facility refrigerators. And we told her, like, you can't go back there. Like, if you do this again, I don't know I can't even remember why, but she just kept helping herself in the kitchen in the facility. So they can get too comfortable sometimes. So it's going to be important that you do stop in, and they have a supervisor. And in this role, marketing can be their supervisor, just somebody from the office coming in to check in to see how things are going. And it doesn't have to feel like a supervisory visit, just that they see someone from the office stopping in to say hi, see how things are going. I'm here to see how you are, when that's partly true, but it's also, are you trying to run the show in this building, or are we, let's just keep things the way they're supposed to be. So, okay.
And that's the same in private homes too. I don't want one caregiver owning the thing, you know what I mean? So I do like to bounce usually at least two people.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely. So I think we're going to have to, this might be our last, we're right at the time limit here. Best types of facilities to go to and what time. So again, I think skilled nursing facilities, rehabs are probably the best.